All right, welcome into the show on this Thursday. It's a particularly, I don't know if it's important, but we have some news, and you may have seen this. I got a new job, full-time job, radio job. Very excited about. So we'll talk about that later in the show, and we'll talk about and explain what it means for Substack, the links that I went to, and I did go to some to make sure that I could continue to do this and be a part of this community that really has become incredibly important to me, incredibly meaningful for me, and I hope for some of you that are a part of it. And I'll talk about what the show is going to look like. We can do that later. I do want to hit, because it's a sports talk podcast. No Stu, no Tom today, by the way. So if you're over at billryder.substack.com, or you're listening on Apple or Spotify or the other places where you can get the pod for free most days, including today, but you have some ad breaks. No Pretty Daddy. He's gone off the grid on us. We don't know what's up with that guy. And no Stu. I think they're both working today. Do want to hit some sports. Do want to talk about some things. And just to, because a few of you asked me this, just to reassure you that doing a all Los Angeles based radio show, that's the new job. And I'll get into the details here in a little bit, is not going to change in any way here or there the candor that's going to be, I hope, always a part of the reason you hang out and you listen. I might be wrong a lot. One of you, we've got a founding members, right? Because you can listen for free, and a lot of the pods are free. We appreciate you. You can pay by the month. Many of you do that. It's always amazing to me. You'll give away your hard-earned money. Thank you. The next level, I don't know if it's up, but you can pay for the year. Many of you have done that as well. Part of the reason I want to make sure this show continues. Thank you. And then you can be a founding member, where you just give me money that's not even necessary, extra money, just because you want to support the show. And a surprising number of you have done that. And it buys you an automatic Bum of the Week nominee. And one of our founding members who had not weighed in, who had not used this privilege, who had not nominated me. And so I'll get into that. And he's right. He made a great case for basically the fact that I'm an idiot. Point being, always going to be candid. Can't always guarantee I'll be righter than anybody. Sometimes it goes wrong. And here's that candor as it relates to the NBA playoffs. I want to go through some of the things happening right now in the playoffs, just to kind of do a rapid fire summation of where we are. Later tonight, though, I want to give you this Lakers take, this Lakers perspective. Later tonight, the Lakers are going to play in game 2 against the Thunder. And there is a conversation in Los Angeles. I just got off doing a radio hit with my guy Nick Costos on BetMGM. I love Nick. We had this conversation. There's maybe less of, but a national interest in, can the Lakers make a series of it against the Thunder? Can LeBron James, and let me just full stop say the obvious, that dude is freaking incredible. But what he's doing at 41 years old is almost beyond comprehension, given the fact that if he were doing it at 35 years old against this Thunder team with really no help because Luka Doncic is injured, would be remarkable. It is amazing. So can LeBron in all of his excellence make a series of, I'm not sure, even take down, I guess, maybe, right? A Thunder team that are back-to-back champions, that are dominating, that are deep in a way that's almost unfair. Credit to Sam Presti, the GM, for building the team the way that he has. A team that J.J. Redick, the coach of the Lakers, I think for reasons that are self-serving and premature, but may ultimately prove to be accurate, a team that J.J. Redick said in the Thunder are one of the elite basketball teams in the history of the game, something we've talked about. And the answer to that question entering the series, can they compete? Can they make a series of it? I think make a series of it is minimum going 6. Can they even win a game? I think the answer is no. I think we're looking at a likely sweep, maybe a gentleman's sweep. I certainly don't think, I'd love to be wrong for selfish reasons I'll get into in a little bit. I'd love the Lakers to push this to 6 or 7. The opportunity to win a game against the Thunder was in the opening game a couple days ago. That is the worst offensive performance in a game that really mattered and had real significance that I've seen from the Thunder this season, maybe last season. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, defending MVP, probably going to be a back-to-back MVP. Had his worst game of the season. Fewest points, most turnovers. You have to take advantage of those moments if you are the Los Angeles Lakers. If you're any team that are playing the Thunder, there's no margin for error. That is a Thunder team, and the fact that SGA had the most turnovers that he'd had in the regular season, the fewest points that he'd had over the course of the entirety of the season, the fact that Shai coughed the ball up a lot is going to add to the stat. But this is a Thunder team that, among the many things they do well, they averaged in the regular season the fewest turnovers per game. They don't give other teams free opportunities. They don't give them chances. And they coughed the ball up a lot in this game. And the Lakers' response to that, I think it was 14 turnovers for the Thunder. The Lakers' response was to be even less careful, less diligent with the basketball. They squandered that opportunity. Let me go a little in the weeds here on the stats, because if you're going to beat the Thunder, especially with no Luka Doncic, everything has to go the right way. Everything has to work out for you. You have to take advantage of every moment, every sort of slight opening that a team like that gives you. The Thunder were a top 7 or 8 3-point shooting team in the regular season. They shoot very, very well from the 3-point line. I mean, they're good at everything. At the end of that game, they had shot exceptionally well percentage-wise from 3. But that was before Jared McCain came in. Jared McCain, former Sixer, would have been Rookie of the Year last year, got injured. Sam Presti traded for him. The guy's a sharpshooter and is amazing. He doesn't even play sometimes. The Thunder are so good, so deep 1-12. Before McCain came in, over the first 3 quarters, you were talking about a team that was shooting 35, 34% from 3. Not abysmal, but mid and basic. And the Lakers' response to that was Austin Reeves being unable to play. I mean, Austin Reeves was abysmal, and he's gotten a lot of the hate. Well, Marcus Smart was, I think, 4-15, was 4-16, was absolutely terrible. Had a brutal foul in the corner late in the game. The Lakers cut the game to 1 point in the third quarter. They were 15.5-point dogs. They ended up not covering, because if you give the Thunder even an inch, you are absolutely and totally finished. And so the answer to the question, can the Lakers make a series of it, is no. They're overmatched. They're overwhelmed. They're not good enough. They don't have Luka Doncic. Doesn't matter if LeBron plays well, and he was exceptional in game 1. Again, 12-17, scored a bunch of points, had a bunch of assists, had some incredible passes, played really well. Everything that the Lakers needed from the Thunder in order to have a chance to win that game was presented to them. SGA was bad. The offense for the Thunder, at least for the first 3 quarters before McCain came in, was very, very basic. They weren't able to really put the Lakers away. The game got close in the third quarter, and Austin Reeves could make a singular bucket. Marcus Smart was bad. The guys around LeBron didn't step up. That series is absolutely over. All right, I'm gonna take a fake break. It's sort of weird doing the show by myself. It's kind of fun. I keep waiting to make fun of Stuart Tom. We're gonna come back from a fake break. I'm gonna hit a couple more NBA topics. And then I want to get into the new job and kind of what it means for Substack. So this is a little bit shorter pod today, but I just wanted to come in, say what's up, give you the info, and tell you about the new job and what it means. So we'll be back in either 3 seconds if you are watching, listening on Substack, or a few minutes if you're over on Apple or Spotify. All right, welcome back into the show. I'm doing all this stuff, writing all this stuff down. A few quick thoughts across the NBA. The Spurs struck back in their game. Wembanyama was absolutely incredible. Had 19 and 15. Anthony Edwards looked like the guy that's coming back from injury. He looked rusty. He didn't play a lot of minutes. He didn't play well over the course of that game. And this is the ultimate problem for the Timberwolves. Even if Ant gets to that place where he's able to play in this series, if the series remains close, 30 minutes, 34, 35 minutes, and play at the level we saw at the end of game 1, it's going to be a daunting task, because the Spurs are the number 3 defense over the course of the year. It is a so-so, I think it was 12th offensive rating offense for the Timberwolves. So the Spurs make things right. I think this is going to be, I think the Spurs are likely to make the NBA Finals, but they strike back. Philly got dominated in game 1 against the Knicks, and they lost game 2 in large part because Joel Embiid again. I mean, I can't even keep. I think it was hip and knee or something was going on. The Joel Embiid story continues. A buddy of mine, Bruno, who I went to Spain with, who listens to the show, who likes to gamble, but he gambles on soccer. He's from Spain. He gambles on soccer. He doesn't know anything about American sports. Will ask me these random questions and then put massive money down. Is Philly capable? Was the note that I got, and the response that I wrote was no. They probably can't win this series. But Embiid's a really interesting wild card if you feel like betting on a long shot that maybe has a chance to do something. And the problem is that I meant Embiid as a wild card in the sense, now that he is back, he is capable at times of playing like one of the 5 or 6 best players in the game. I should have clarified to him and clarified to myself, it's also possible as a wild card that he's just going to get hurt again and leave Maxey by himself. It's exactly what happened. And part of the issue becomes because there was no Embiid and because it's do or die and because the Knicks just destroyed him over the course of game one, they rolled out basically 6 guys. I mean, you had Paul George playing in the 40-minute range. You had Maxey playing a bunch of minutes. That is not going to be a sustainable model. They don't have enough depth. And the fact that Embiid's injured again, I don't want to do the eye roll, but is brutal and painful. Cavs Pistons tonight. I don't like the term must-win game. I don't, you know this if you watch the show, you listen to the show. I don't buy the Pistons. I don't buy Cleveland. And some of you have said I'm not giving the Pistons enough credit. Totally fair. Totally right. This is a chance to just, I think, put a stamp on this game. It's not a must-win game for the Cavs. I know it's game 2. I understand that you can lose the first 2 on the road in Detroit. You can go back to Cleveland. You can win 2. Things can get crazy. When Giannis and the Bucks won their NBA championship, they lost the first 2 games, if memory serves, against the Suns in the NBA Finals, and they were NBA champions. There's a long ways to go. I still think and believe that the Cavs' 2 most important players, or 2 of the 3, Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, are unreliable, are vulnerable to when the moment is so big and you have to do it, being inefficient, not playing well, and making it a little easier on the opposing defense, which is to say, you want as little pressure as possible in Cleveland if you have a chance of winning this series. I think it's pretty important that they win this game against Detroit tonight. And we talked about Lakers Thunder. They're obviously Lakers not. I don't think they're going to get it done. Let me very quickly hit this too before we get to the whole I have a new job thing and what does it mean. Maybe you don't care. That's why I did it at the end. If you don't care, totally fine. Of course, Jimmy Haslam is the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks and had a press conference with the media, had John Horst, the GM, with him. I know John pretty well from my NBA insider days. I think he's an impressive guy. And Haslam said that he wants the Giannis situation resolved by the draft, which makes sense. Draft comes shortly after end of June, the NBA Finals. That they want the assets that are in place, that will be in place, that will be paramount if you're going to move on from Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I know Mike and I, Bart Winkler, and I know I've given Bart a hard time, but I like Bart. And he speaks for a certain part of Wisconsin fandom that includes cousins that I love and I'm related to, who, and all fans get irrational. There's been this irrationality around the idea that Giannis wanted to leave. Maybe I took it a little personally because, 2 years ago, year and a half ago, I was the first person to really, in a reporting sense, put out there, whoa, people around the NBA think Giannis is going to go. And this is how quickly the NBA moves and comes at you. It's how quickly life comes at you. When I wrote that story a year and a half ago, that there was a feeling across NBA front offices, a growing sense that Giannis might be available eventually. That upcoming trade deadline, maybe the following summer, certainly over the next year or so. People got mad. People got angry. And when that happened, the context was, "You're an idiot, writer," and other people that then reported it. But also, hey, man, why would the Bucks do that? Why would you give up this world-class athlete? And you fast forward to today, and look, Giannis is great. And here in LA, people are hoping they can go get Giannis Antetokounmpo. I won't pretend that there's not a desire to have him at various places, but we've seen some injury problems. He has been unreliable from an injury sense. Obviously, there's been disagreements between Giannis and the Bucks to the degree to which he should or shouldn't have played, where it's part of the schism that may lead to the divorce. But my point is, the return you would have gotten for Giannis Antetokounmpo 18 months ago is markedly higher, even if it's still high, than the return you would get today. And the fact that Jimmy Haslam would come out and would say, "Hey, man, we're going to trade this guy. We got to figure it out," speaks to that. Doesn't mean that Haslam, the owner of the Bucks, wants to trade him. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It doesn't mean that it's a sure thing. But being spoken about at that level means that it's under consideration and you've lost some leverage. The time to trade somebody is when nobody thinks that that's something that's going to happen. And you're going to be able to get the most in return. And so for me, the Haslam press conference is a warning to Bucks fans and to the guy sitting next to the owner, John Horst. Every cycle that goes by now, every sort of part of the process of the NBA, that you don't trade Giannis, he is going to deteriorate in the value for what you can get in return. If you don't trade him by the NBA draft, it's not going to make everything rosy. The Bucks aren't going to be a better basketball team. I like Taylor Jenkins as a coach. Doesn't mean he's going to suddenly coach them to greatness. Giannis isn't going to get less pissed off at this organization. He's not going to get younger. He's not going to become less likely to be injured. And so the next time you would likely trade him is approaching the deadline next year. And his value is going to be down from where it is right now. And if you don't do that, because it's harder to trade at the trade deadline, especially with contracts like Giannis's, in large part because it's hard to fit the numbers. And you got to wait till after that. Well, then all of a sudden it becomes next summer, and now he's older, and the likelihood that maybe he's been injured is much higher. It's time. Bart Winkler, Jake, Zach, Stephanie, Uncle John, my family, the people of Wisconsin, it's time. And I understand that there's a world where you could trade Giannis Antetokounmpo and you could see him have massive success somewhere. It would be a bitter pill to swallow to have him lift a trophy or even get close, right? Be one of the elite teams and be doing what the Knicks are doing. Say this year, if the Knicks don't win it, maybe they will in Miami. I don't think it'd be Brooklyn, but in Brooklyn with the Knicks, I'll do the whole like LA thing in LA, even though I don't think they have the pieces, and I don't think John Horst, speculation here, I don't think he values Austin Reeves like at that level. That said, it doesn't matter. You got to do the best with what you know now. And the flip side of that, the dominant team that's out there is the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the way the Thunder became the Thunder, there's a lot of pieces to this, but the building block, the cornerstone of Sam Presti's remarkable ability to put this thing together was trading Paul George when people thought that was a massive prize. Getting rid of a guy that was still, we thought, kind of in his prime and a remarkable talent. Hey, you can win a championship with this guy. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander came back. And it doesn't always go this way, but PG has failed by the standards that we had. I mean, he's failed. He's failed. He has failed in Los Angeles with the Clippers, and he's failing past tense, current tense. It'll be future tense with the Sixers. And it turned out Shai was the guy. And so the question isn't whether you move on from Embiid. Just like the question back then wasn't, do you move on from PG? The question is, can you get the right return? Do you know how to go get the assets? Do you know how to identify the young players that are available out there that other people don't value properly and are willing to move on from? I don't know. We know Presti could do it. Presti can always do it. Is John Horst capable of moving Giannis for the right pieces? I'm not sure. It's two parts here. You have to move Giannis if that's the right call. It is part one. And part two is you have to get the right things in return. I don't know if that's possible. Okay, nobody's here. It's just me. I'm gonna do a little cheer. So I'm excited about this. I love radio. I'm not just saying that. A, I don't really do that. And B, I don't care anymore. I haven't had a job in a year, or not quite a year, 10 months or whatever it is. I've gotten extra candid. I love radio in a way that I don't the other parts of the things that I've been able to do for a living. And I'm well aware that sports writing and sports television are Peter Pan, Neverland, forever young. I'm lucky. I mean, I've unloaded pallets at Walmart. I've done the jobs where I realize how fortunate, blessed I am. It's luck to do this for a living. That said, radio is the thing that I love most. And the podcast, because you do make a connection with people. And when the Infinity Sports Radio Network, which was an Odyssey national network that shut down, went away, one of the things that was amazing to me and shocked me and surprised me, and I think I brought this up on the air, but I'm not sure, is that I had signed up for a Substack account 6 months earlier because I had two jobs, as many of you know. I had worked at CBS Sports for 9 years. And we made the decision as a team that they didn't want me to work there, so I didn't get to work there anymore starting in June, or July 1st was my last day last year. And that was my primary job, just in terms of, income and time and all of those things. And an executive, a guy at Substack called me when he saw the news. It got reported, Ryder's out, and said, hey, you should sign up for a Substack. And I said, I've done the radio show, which I love, and I don't really want to do a Substack. And he said, do me a favor, just sign up. We'll give you your name, because I think somebody had whatever it's under, Bill Ryder, whatever it is. And he said, turn on payments. And I said, I'm not going to charge people for nothing. No one would pay me for, he said, just turn on payments. All right. I said, okay, that was the deal. I will sign up for a Substack that is dormant, that is empty. I don't even know if it had my picture. I can't remember. And I will turn on payments, and I will never touch it again. Life went on, did the radio show, heard some rumblings that the network might close. The network obviously eventually, by the way, here's like a little tidbit for those of you that are deep insiders. I had a sense that this could have happened well in advance. So I actually gave Pretty Daddy, Tom DeCelestino, a heads up that I way in advance that I thought this was going to happen. I wasn't sure, but I wanted to tell him some things. Part of the reason that he left, part of the reason he went to Sirius XM, and I'm really glad that he was able to land on high ground. So it wasn't a total surprise to me. It was a bummer, but it wasn't a total surprise to me when the radio network went away. And finally, eventually, I can't remember November, December, the bosses who were Chris Olivero and Jeff Sotolano and names you don't know, but incredible in terms of how they dealt, I thought, with me and everybody as things went down, gave us permission to talk about it in the air. And when I said, "Oh, the radio show's over and I'm unemployed," I did that at the end of a show. I turned off my phone and I went to play tennis. And I'm never off the grid. You probably aren't either. I'm always on my phone, even playing tennis or walking around, because my kids are sending me messages every 30 seconds about money they want to spend that we don't have, or even if we do have it. No, you don't need to order something on Amazon. Go back to math class. So I turned my phone off, and I don't know, 3 or 4 hours later, I turned my phone back on, and it was just like a barrage of messages from people, of course. So sorry, saw the news. It's such a bummer. Good luck. It'll work out. It'll be, whatever it was. But to my amazing surprise, many of you, and maybe many of you who are still listening, had gone to Substack. I think I might have said, if any of you remember, tell me. I don't remember. It was sort of it's all a whirl in my brain when I announced that the old radio show was going away. Maybe I said, I'm going to go to Substack and check out Substack that first day. Many of you went to Substack, signed up, and many of you started paying for something that I didn't know what it was, and what does it mean, and what is it going to be? And that's why I'm doing this in large part, because it turned out folks wanted this show to continue in some form, which brings me in a long-winded kind of way to, that was a really long story, to what happens now. So the same company that I work for that ran the Infinity Sports Radio Network has launched, I'm really excited, will launch an all sports talk radio station here in LA. 97.1 The Fan is what it's called. We're going to start live from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening, 6A to 6P, 5 days a week. I imagine we'll build out from there. We are going to be the only all sports radio station on the FM dial, kind of a radio thing, but it's exciting and it's cool. There are 2 other radio stations that do sports talk radio here in LA. ESPN LA is one of them, and 570, where I've worked, is one of them. And I have a lot of friends at ESPN LA, and I'll just say that I worked at 570. I don't know if they're friends. I think there's an opening here and an opportunity. I think maybe people get complacent. I think maybe they don't talk enough sports the way that they should. And so it feels like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I'm going to be hosting Afternoon Drive from 2 to 6 p.m. Pacific. By the way, you can listen to this. We're going to stream on Twitch. We're going to stream on X. We're going to stream on YouTube. We're going to be free on the free Odyssey app, on, I think, iHeartMedia radio app. There's a bunch of ways that you can tune in, and I hope you will. And if you're on the East Coast, it's later. It's going to be, I'm not good at the math, but 5 to 9 p.m. is what that's going to be if you're in the car. I really hope that you'll tune in. Here's the thing. Here's like the excitement, and here's what it means for the Substack. This is a dream job for me. I moved to Los Angeles with my kids to do television in 2013. And the cheesy love it first, thank you. Yeah. Love at first sight. That's for LA. I love LA. I love Los Angeles, and I could spend 15 or 20 minutes walking people through the way, ready for a weird analogy? Los Angeles is a cat and New York City is a dog. And I love cats and dogs. They're both great. And you pick your poison here. A dog loves you immediately. It's easy. You're a human being, smells your hand, you give it some food, the dog's in. New York City is incredible the moment you step foot in it. We lived there for 2 years, and the minute we were there, we loved it. We knew it. Like, wow, this is magical. LA's like, my wife's a cat person, so I can speak to this. Cats don't like you for a while. It takes a long time. You got to kind of earn it. LA can feel ugly when you first get here. Oh, I'm on Sepulveda. I'm on the 405. This sucks. You don't know where to eat. But if you put the time in, if you invest, if you get into sort of what LA, it's hidden. You got to work for it. It's magical. It's unlike any place. And I feel so lucky to have raised my kids here. I feel so lucky to come from Iowa, but to have raised my kids in this city has been incredible. I love sports talk radio. I love radio because of the connection you make with an audience. And I love Los Angeles. And so when I got the call for this job, I knew this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And let me also be incredibly candid. I need a job. I mean, employment. I mean, employment matters. It's been fun being unemployed to a degree. I've been in Spain and Mexico City, and I've reconnected with a bunch of friends, and I played way too much tennis, and I've lost some weight, and I've slept in. But like most of us, right? I'm not a trust fund kid, and I imagine you probably aren't either. But if you are, thank you for listening. Go be a founding member, you trust fund kid. We'll take the money. Let's share the money. I need to work. But beyond that, this is a job I'm really excited to do. I've been going to work now for a few days, and it's joyous. Like, I'm overwhelmed with like how much fun it's gonna. And I've had jobs, including radio jobs in LA that were miserable. This is not that. I'm really excited. But I made it a point, right? Not that I have any leverage. I have no job. I made a point of insisting that I could continue to do Substack. And I will not give you sort of the details on that. I'm not sure that was necessarily easy to accomplish, but the people that I now work for, again, were as gracious and understanding as I explained why this matters to me, as they were gracious in having to let me and a bunch of my friends and colleagues go at the old station. And so I am going to continue to do the Substack. Now, what does that look like? What does that mean? I don't want to lie to you. I know some of you are really frustrated with me because we haven't done many shows. I was really pissed off that I couldn't do shows from Spain because I thought this might be happening, and it did. Getting this job. This network launches, this new station, I should say station, not network, launches on May 18th. It's going to be really busy between now and then. It's going to take me a while probably to get into the right rhythm. I'm going to do as many of these shows as I possibly can, but it may be a little less consistent and frequent than it was. And by the way, if you pay for this show, thank you if you do. And that means you're just like, dude, like, I supported you and you have a job now, or man, like, I paid for this so I could have this 5 days a week, not 2 days a week for 2 months. I totally understand. And I am not. One of the weird things about Substack is you kind of know when people unsubscribe or unpay. I'm not mad. Like, I've had one person, I think, cancel their payment, and maybe two. And my only thought is gratitude. One person did it for 3 months for $6 a month and then stops. And my thought it was gratitude. And so if you got to do that, do it. I will not be mad. I am so thankful and appreciative that you listen, that you're hanging out, and then, by the way, only paid subscribers are listening right now, right? Like, the other people are like, what is he? I can't remember. What is this? So it's like, please, like, unsubscribe, unpay, whatever you got to do, if that feels right. There's no hard feelings on my end. But this is going to continue. I don't know the form. I'm guessing it's going to be several times a week. Stu and Tom, we still want to do it. We got to figure out a schedule. The fact I'm doing afternoon drive in LA means I can do this in the morning, maybe on a similar schedule. Maybe I can do it a lot. I'm also, at some point, I'm going to start writing a lot more. I don't know if that appeals to you. If it does, it's coming. But I don't know when I don't know if that means May or June or July in terms of ramping this back up to what it's supposed to be. Because this is a full-time job, and I have made a commitment. And I do want to, with Odyssey and with my co-host Doug McCain, DMAC is going to be great. And I have a new producer who I really like, a guy named Ryan Bershinger. And I have a new boss, Andrew Williams, who seems like an amazing dude. And a company, Odyssey, that's treated me well for so long and has given me this. This is a big project for them. I want to give them everything I have. And so, all of which is to say, this Substack is going to continue because it's important to me. And I was very particular as I got this job, and sort of, in any job, but especially in radio or TV, this is radio, you negotiate certain things. Can I have more money? No, yes, you can. Can I have more vacation? No, yes, you can. Can I have my own office and rose petals thrown at my feet every time I walk in and a group of people cheer for me? No, you can't. Can I have Substack? Can I continue to do something where I understand where maybe my company might see it as a little bit of a competition or a bandwidth suck or whatever it is? Can I have Substack? That was the thing that was important to me, because you're important to me, and this is important to me, and I love doing it. And graciously, Odyssey, the bosses, the folks said yes. So this will continue, but if it feels a little too intermittent, if it feels like my focus is slipping, if you feel like I'm not giving this what I should, A, that won't be permanent. B, I apologize, and reach out. And many of you have and do, and I love it. Like, I love it. A lot of you in the messaging, in the private messaging, give me a hard time and push at me, and like, dude, bro, that was stupid, or where's the pod been, or that was a really weak take, what are you doing? Or many of you cut your hair, which I did. I cut it a little bit. So do it. Please do it. But I'm really excited about this job in LA. I love radio. I love Los Angeles. I love talking about sports. I'm really excited about the dude I get to work with. He's really funny and really cool. I think you're gonna like him if you listen. But I want this to continue, and it will. And I want to hang out with Stu. I mean, hell, I don't tell him I love Pretty Daddy. And I only speak to him when we do the show, because he doesn't take my calls or anyone's calls or operate a phone like a normal human being. It's like it's 1965 and he doesn't have a landline. That's what it's like having a friendship with Tom DeCelestino when he's not on the show. So this is going to keep going, and I hope you'll continue to be a part of it and bear with me. And for those of you that paid for the year, that's the other thing. I'm in. And here's the other thing, and I said this to somebody else, and I didn't hear back. Somebody who canceled and said it's not enough shows. If you feel like you're not getting enough shows and you've paid for the year, hit me up on the app, and I will, once we get in the better rhythm, I will just remind me. I will give you free months. It's not about the money for me. And I'm so appreciative for it. I just like doing the show, and I like hanging out with all of you. So that's the deal. That's the gist. That's where we are. That's the show. Sorry to run early. I know 30 minutes. We made it 30 minutes. I feel like 15 of it was me telling about how I ended up on Substack. Oh, that's interesting. We will have a full show tomorrow. Stu's going to be there. Bum of the week. If you're a founding member, Kevin, you too, send me your Bum of the Week nominees, because I need more candidates to make sure I don't win. Because one of our people, and we'll reveal our founding member, our newest, to kind of weigh in tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate all of you. Love all of you for listening. That's cheesy, but I'm in a great place. I'm feeling really good about life. I feel very lucky about this job, and I feel very lucky about the Substack. And we'll see you tomorrow. BillRider.substack.com.